السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد سيد الأولين والآخرين وعلى آله وصحبه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: صلي بالشمس وضحاها ونحوها من السور. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki namazı Şems suresi ve uzunluk olarak bunun gibi kısa sürelerle kıldır diyor.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when you lead the prayer as the Imam, then during that prayer recite as the Imam recite the Surah Shams or surahs which have the same length as the Surah Shams.
Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem yani fazla imam olunca milleti haline göre Şems orta kısadır. Ondan daha kısaları da Duha surası falan.
When you lead the prayer, you should be conscious and aware of the Jama'ah that follows you during that prayer, and you should respect the Jama'ah, and in order you should recite a surah like the Surah Shams or like the Surah Duha, which are not too long.
Onlara benzer surelerle namazı kıldırın diyor imamlara.
And thus our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, names these two surah, Surah Shams and Surah Duha, as examples for the length which the surahs should have when you lead the prayer as the Imam.
قال رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم: صلوا خلف كل بر وفاجر وصلوا على كل بر وفاجر وجاهد مع كل بر وفاجر. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki iyi olsun kötü biri olsun her kişi Müslüman imamın arkasında namaz kılın.
Whether he is good or bad, if the one leading a prayer is Muslim, then you should join that prayer and follow that person who is the Imam, regardless of whether he is good or bad.
İyi olsun, kötü biri olsun, ölen her Müslüman kişinin cenaze namazını kılın ki iyi olsun.
If the one who died is a Muslim, and regardless of whether the deceased person was good or bad, every Muslim deserves to have a funeral prayer so that it may be good for the person who died.
İyi olsun, kötü olsun, biri olsun, Müslüman idareci birlikte cihat yapın.
And whether the leader of a country is good or bad, if he's Muslim and he leads the nation in the fight in jihad, then you should join that leader. You should join that leader of the country in jihad, regardless of whether that leader of the country is good or bad.
Yani önüne imam olunca bakmayacaksın. Bu nasıldır, araştırıp da iyi midir, kötü müdür diye artık imamın arkasına tabi olacaksın.
When there is prayer that is being performed and there's a Jama'ah and there's an Imam and the Imam leads the prayer, then you should join that Jama'ah and perform that prayer in Jama'ah. You should not spy on the Imam. You should not do research on what kind of person that Imam is, whether good or bad. Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, instructs us to join the Imam in prayer in Jama'ah, regardless of knowing whether he's good or bad.
Cenaze olunca da onun cenazesini Müslüman yani bir tane insan kılsa bile öteki Müslümanlardan kılması hepsi günahına girmiş olurlar.
And also, if a person who died was Muslim, then the funeral prayer has to be performed, regardless of whether that person was a Muslim, was good or bad, and it is an obligation on the community. If one person performs that funeral prayer, then the duty has been lifted from the community. But if none of that community performs the funeral prayer for that deceased Muslim, then they will all be held accountable.
Cihat olunca idareci olan, komutan olan memleketin idaresinde olan onun emrinde cihat yapıp kim var, iyi midir, kötü müdür demeden onun emrinde olacak askerler.
Also, when there's jihad, and regardless of whoever the commander in chief may be, or whoever the leader of the country may be, the soldiers need to obey and follow, regardless of whether the people in charge are good or bad.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الصلاة خلف رجل ورع مقبولة والهدية إلى رجل ورع مقبولة والجلوس مع رجل ورع من العبادة والمذاكرة معه صدقة. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor, vera sahibi kişinin arkasında kılınan namaz kabul edilir. Yani kabul edilir, Allah'tan korkan insan, günahtan sakınan insan sahibi, onun arkasında kılınan namaz kabul edilir.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that a prayer that is performed behind a person who is God-fearing, who is sincere and good, our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, says that the prayer performed behind such an imam is accepted.
Vera gene iyi kişi sahibi kişiye verilen hediye kabul edilir.
Also, our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that if you give a gift to a good person, then that gift is accepted.
Onda makbul olur. Onlar Allah indinde daha makbuldur.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that if you pray behind a good person, if you give a gift to a good person, then that prayer is accepted in the divine presence, and that gift is accepted in the divine presence.
İyi insanlara verilen hediye, müstahak insanlara o verilen hediye makbuldur.
Thus, gifts given to good people are recompensated in the divine presence and are accepted in the divine presence.
Vera sahibi gene iyi, Allah'tan korkan kişi, günahtan sakınan kişiye oturmak ibadet ve onunla sohbet etmek sadakadır. Yani
and thirdly, our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says to be with a good person, to talk to a good person who is good, God-fearing, who is sincere, is also considered to be sadaqah, and it is a blessing. Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says to spend time with a good person.
Onun oturduğun vakit, onunla konuştuğun vakit o da sadaka eline geçer.
If you sit down with a good person, if you talk to a good person, if you spend time with a good person, our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says, then that is considered to be sadaqah.
Allah sevabını yazar onu.
And Allah Almighty will reward you accordingly.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم للإمام والمؤذن مثل أجر من صلى معهما. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki imam ve müezzine bütün cemaat kadar sevap verilir.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that the imam and the muezzin will be recompensated according to the amount of people attending that prayer.
Yani o duyan müezzin ne kadar insan duyarsa ona da ecri sevap var.
And Allah Almighty will reward the muezzin according to the extent and the distance to which the voice during the call of prayer is heard.
İmamın arkasında ne kadar insan kılarsa da onlar kadar ona sevap yazılır.
And Allah Almighty will reward the imam to the amount and quantity of people who attend that prayer. And
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يؤمكم أكثركم قراءة للقرآن. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki içinizden Kur'an'ı en iyi okuyan kişi size imamlık etsin diyor.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that the one who recites the one who recites the Holy Quran the best among you should be the imam leading the prayer.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يؤمكم أحسنكم وجها فإنه أحرى أن يكون أحسنكم خلقا. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki yüz olarak en güzel olanınız size imamlık etsin. Umulur ki böylesi bir helak açısından da sizden daha güzeldir.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that the one with the most beautiful face among you should lead the prayer, because it is hoped that the one with the beautiful face is the one with the best character among you.
Yani nurlu, yüzü daha nurlu olan, daha güzel olan onun imam olsun diyor Peygamber Efendimiz sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem.
Thus our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that the one who should lead the prayer should be the one whose face is radiating with light and who has a more beautiful face, or the most beautiful face among the people.
Çünkü ahlakı da daha iyi olur. Çünkü
Because the face will radiate the light of good character.
insanın ahlakı da yüzüne şey yapar.
If a person has good character, good manners, or good behavior, then that goodness will shine forth through the face of that person.
Belli olur. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من زار قوما فلا ولا أمهم رجل منهم. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki her kim bir kavim yanına ziyarete giderse onlara imamlık etmesin. İşlerinden biri onlara imamlık etsin.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when someone visits another people, then that person should not enforce himself to be the imam leading the prayer of that people, but somebody from among those people who he visits should lead the prayer as imam.
Yani vakit kalkıp da bir ziyarete gittin, hemen sen imamlık atlama, onlardan birisi imamlık etsin. İlla ki onlar zorlasa sen bize imamlık yap derse o başka bir şey.
So if someone visits another people, then you should not try and say, I want to lead the prayer and jump ahead in order and force yourself to be the imam. No, you should. Someone from among the people you visit should be the imam. If the people who host you as a guest, if they invite you and force you to lead the prayer, then you may lead the prayer. But first, the one who should lead the prayer should be someone from among the people who you visit, and you should not force yourself in front of those people to be the imam.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما كان له إمام فقراءة الإمام له قراءة. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki namaz kılan bir kişinin imamı bulunursa imamın kıraatı kendisi için kıraattır. Yani şimdi biz bu Hanefi mezhebine göre imam tabi olunca biz ne Fatiha okuruz ne Zamm-ı Sure okuruz.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when you join the imam in order to perform the prayer in Jama'ah, then whatever the imam recites is considered your recitation. And that is also why, according to the Hanafi method, when we join the imam to follow him in prayer, then we neither recite the Fatiha nor do we recite any other additional surah. We just keep silent and follow the imam. As our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, said, his recitation is our recitation.
Başka mezhepler tabii daha değişik oluyor.
But this may be different according to other methods.
Peygamber Efendimiz buyurdu, imam okuduğu size yeter. Onun kıraatı sizin kıraatınıza tamamdır. Yani sen okumana gerek yok.
In this hadith, however, our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that if you join the imam for the prayer in Jama'ah, then whatever the imam recites is considered to be your recitation too, and there's no need for you to recite yourself during the prayer in Jama'ah.
Tabii bu Hanefi mezhebine göre Şafii mezhebine bir Fatiha okuması lazım.
Of course, this ruling is according to the Hanafi method. I think according to the Shafi method, they need to recite the Fatiha at least.
Öteki mezhepler bilmiyorum.
But I don't know about the other methods.
4 mezhep var, hepsi hak mezhepler, her biri değişik ama bu
There are 4 methods, and every single one of them, and every method of these 4 methods is truthful, but they may differ from each other, but they all are, those 4 methods are all 4 truthful.
Bizim mezhebe göre olan şeydir, hadis-i şeriftir.
But this ruling to not recite when joining the imam is according to our madhab, which is the Hanafi madhab.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى أن يقوم الإمام فوق شيء والناس خلفه. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki Hazreti Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem imamın cemaat arkasındayken cemaatin bulunduğu yerden daha yüksek bir şey üzerinde namaz kılmasını yasaklamıştır. Yani cemaatle beraber çok kişiler falan olmaz. Tabii o vakitin cemaat, evet, yer düzdü. Şimdi bazen her şeye göre yere göre de fetva oluyor.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that the imam, that during that the imam and the Jama'ah, they should not be separated from each other, with the imam being on a remote higher place compared to the Jama'ah, but they should be all on the same ground. And this was how things were during the time of our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. They would pray on the bare ground, being all on the same level. Of course, there are certain fatwas and certain rules according to the circumstances and the environment of certain places.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من أما قوما وهم له كارهون فإن صلاته لا تجاوز ترقوته. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki kim bir kavme kendisini istemedikleri halde imamlık ederse namazı kulaklarına ötesine geçmez. Sevabını alamaz yani.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that if someone by force makes himself to be the imam of the people, then that prayer will not go beyond the ears. It will not be accepted.
Yani o kabul olsa da sevabı yoktur onun.
And even if it were accepted, it will not have the rewards.
قال صلى الله عليه وسلم من أما الناس أصاب الوقت وأتم الصلاة فله ولهم ومن انتقص من ذلك شيئا فعليه ولا عليهم. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki kim insanlara, yani cemaate imamlık edip namazı vaktinde tam olarak kıldırırsa sevabı kendisine ve cemaate aittir.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that whoever is the imam and performs the prayer right on time, then the rewards will be for him, for the imam, as well as for the Jama'ah.
Yani namazı vaktinde vakit kaçırmadan kıldıran imam sevabı ona hem cemaata sevap tamamdır.
So if the imam does not delay the prayer but performs the prayer right on time, then that prayer is valid, and the imam as well as the Jama'ah will get their rewards accordingly.
Kim de bir şey eksiltirse vebali sadece kendisinedir. O vebalin cemaatte bir şey yoktur. Yani
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says if there are some deficiencies or inadequacies by what the imam does when leading the prayer during prayer, then the Jama'ah will not be held accountable for these deficiencies.
O bir şey eksik yaparsa cemaatin bir kabahati yok. Cemaat sevabını tam alır.
So if the imam misses something, then the Jama'ah will not be held accountable. The Jama'ah will still get the full reward of their prayer without being held accountable for what the imam did.
O kendi sevabını alamaz o vakit. İmam alamaz.
However, the imam, of course, he will be held accountable for his shortcomings.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من أما قوم فيهم من هو أقرأ منه كتاب الله وأعلم لم يزل في سفال إلى يوم القيامة. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki kim aralarında Allah'ın kitabını kendisinden daha güzel okuyan ve kendisinden daha bilgili biri olduğu halde imamlık yaparsa kıyamet gününe kadar değer olarak bir düşüş içinde olur.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that if someone makes himself to be the imam of a Jama'ah where there is at least someone who is more knowledgeable in the Holy Quran, in the Book of Allah Almighty, who is more knowledgeable in reciting the Quran, then the one who does not make that person to be the imam, but makes himself to be the imam, will be in a state of losing esteem up until the day of judgment. He will be in a state of degrading himself.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم Men rafa'a ra'sehu qabla al-imam ve vada'a fela salate lehu. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki kim başını imamdan önce secdede koyar, imamdan secdeye koyar ve kaldırırsa o kimsenin namazı yoktur. Yani sevabı eksik oluyor.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when joining the prayer in Jama'ah and following the Imam, and whoever then puts his head for the sajda onto the ground before the Imam, or lifts his head from the sajda before the Imam, then that person will have no prayer. There will be no rewards in that prayer for that person who moved before the Imam.
İmam ilk başta, imamdan sonra tekbiri imamdan sonraki bazen
It is the Imam who first makes the movement and the Jama'ah will follow thereafter.
bazı burada da güzel bir şey var. İmam Allahu Ekber deyince sen ondan sonra Allahu Ekber diyeceksin.
And this is a good important reminder to make people aware of, is that when the Imam, for example, starts the prayer, initiates the prayer with the takbir Allahu Akbar, then you wait until the Imam has completed, and thereafter the Jama'ah will make their Allahu Akbar respectively.
Yani tekbir, ilk baştaki tekbire Allahu Ekber diyor, sen Allahu Ekber ondan sonra dersin.
So when the Imam initiates the prayer with the takbir Allahu Akbar, then you wait until the Imam has completed this initial takbir, and then as the Jama'ah, after the Imam, you make that takbir.
İmamla beraber değil,
You don't do it simultaneously with the Imam,
imamdan önce değil,
and you don't do it before the Imam actually does it.
imamdan sonra yapman lazım bu tekbiri.
When you join the prayer in Jama'ah with the Imam, then you first have the Imam do the takbir in order to initiate the prayer, and then you don't do it simultaneously. You don't do it before the Imam, but you do your takbir in order to start your prayer after the Imam.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى أن يكون الإمام مؤذنا. Resulullah sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem imamın kıldıracağı namaz vakti için müezzinlik yapmasını yasaklamıştır. Yani başkası müezzinlik yapsın diyor. İmamlık ayrı, müezzinlik ayrı olsun.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that if the prayer is going to be performed and there is an Imam and there is a muezzin, then those should be separate people. One should be the Imam, and the Imam should not be the muezzin at the same time.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تصلوا الصلاة في يوم مرتين. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki bir namazı bir günde 2 defa kılmayın.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that don't perform a prayer twice.
Yani sabah namazını bir defa kılacaksın.
So for example, if you perform Fajr prayer, you perform it once during a day.
Bir defa daha kılayım, daha fazla sevap yok.
There's no such thing as, oh, let me pray Fajr prayer a second time to gain more rewards.
Öğlen bir defa daha kılayım, daha fazla sevap var.
There's no such thing such as I perform Dhuhr, let's pray Dhuhr again to gain more rewards.
Yani 2 tane kılmayın diyor Peygamber Efendimiz.
Don't perform a prayer twice.
Kılarsanız bir şey olursa yani nafile olarak kılarsınız.
In order to gain more rewards, you may of course perform more prayers, but instead of performing a prayer twice, you may perform additional voluntary prayers instead.
Kaza namazı varsa o vakit kaza yerine kılarsınız.
Or if you missed prayers, you may make up for those prayers if you want to pray more.
Ama aynı namazı 2 defa kılmayın diyor Peygamber Efendimiz.
But when there is the obligatory prayer, you don't perform that twice in a single day.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تصل صلاة صلاة حتى تتكلم أو تخرج. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki konuşmadan veya mescitten dışarı çıkmadan önce bir namazı diğer bir namazı ekleme. Yani vakit namazlarını aradan biraz vakit olsun diyor Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when performing the prayers, do not juxtapose them to each other without having said a word, or without having exited the mosque and having come back. Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, instructs us that there should be some time in between the prayers.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يَأُمُّ الْقَوْمِ أَقْرَأُهُمْ لِلْقُرْآنِ Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki bir topluluğa içlerinde Kur'an'ı en güzel okuyan kişi imamlık etsin diyor Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, reiterates that the one who should lead the prayer should be the one who recites the Quran in the most beautiful manner among the people.
صدق رسول الله فيما قال أو كما قال زيادة الله يشرف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وأصحابه الكرام وإلى أرواح جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين خدماء شرائعهم وإلى أرواح الأئمة الأربعة وإلى أرواح مشايخنا في طريقة النقشبندية العالية خاصة إمام طريقة غوث الخليقة خواجة بهاء الدين محمد ويسير البخاري سيدنا عبد الخالق الجواني مولانا شيخ شرف الدين داسان مولانا شيخ عبد الله فاز داسان مولانا شيخ محمد ناظم عبد الحقاني وسائر ساداتنا والصديقين ومن حفظته حسين الفندي رفقائه هاج مصطفى تراب جملة من ذلك شكر الله رشن شاهد شهداء الله رشن خيرنا gelmesi şeylerinde formasını Teala Fatiha.